Hey, everybody. Welcome to TPIM SR Live. I'm your host, TruePowerIsMine. Today, we got DRS1 back in the house. I'm so happy. I want to thank God for allowing me to do the show today. Doctor, you still there?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right.
DRS1, yeah.
DRS1's in the house. You know, Black History Month just happened last month. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up, on this show, Black history is not relegated to just one solitary month. It's a celebration all year round for as long as this show will go. So that being said, Doctor, before we came online, we was talking about the election and butt check or whoever booty check is booty check. Yes, is finally gone.
Penis booty check. It too was a quickie. How predictable. It was a quickie.
No, not to be ignorant, but we have now on the Democratic side basically two small sombreros. We have Bloomberg and we have Sanders. Both of them are anti-reparations. Let's just be honest, because this is a pro-reparation show, y'all. If you don't know, now you know.
Biden is anti-reparation.
Oh yeah.
The CBC is anti-reparation. The only people that are for reparations are us, and it's up to us to get them.
It's up to us to energize our folks to start writing into those Black Congress or Black caucus members and tell them to jump on the political bandwagon and get us some doggone tangibles.
Right. It's absolutely time. As well as threatening their political careers. You know, by the way, let me just say this. I'm not advocating any kind of violence of any sort.
Correct.
But I will say in other cultures and other communities, by about now, the masses of people, if it were an ethnic group, would be doing a lot of stuff that would be illegal to the counterparts of the CBC. I mean, literally, folks would be needing to ride around in Humvees and all because they have to deliver anything. And if you look at what's happening, I was just looking at an article in the Manchester Guardian. Even the white people in England know that the election is all pivoted off of, they said people of color, but hell, we're the largest group of voters that are non-white in the country. Fact. And they keep screaming about this Hispanic vote. Let me just say something to you about this damn Hispanic vote. If you looked and you saw how many people voted in Nevada, okay, at least it wasn't in the hundreds of thousands. Are you getting me?
Yeah. So I mean,
if you look at how many votes that Bernie got in Iowa was under 30,000 votes. Buttigieg in fourth place in South Carolina got almost twice as many votes as Sanders did with the largest number of votes in Iowa. Are you understanding? People are not coming out to vote. I mean, it's really not interesting, but I want to go back to the cool thing that Black people outvote all of these other people about 3-1. And the greatest betrayal of Jesse Jackass, Asinine Waters, Streeli, Whack Job Lee, and all the others is to act as if we need them. We're a block unto ourselves. We outvote the Asians. We outvote the people who can't figure out they want to be white but can't get white consideration, so they put down others. We outvote them 3-1. And yet we're running after them for a coalition.
Or leadership.
It's the dumbest thing. I mean, just really coontard. That's the term I'm using. Coontard leadership. They're not retards, coontard.
Well, you
So I absolutely have to say that we need to go after our Black, so-called Black representation and at least make them miserable being in public life. If we can't get anything out of it, at least don't shoot your homie over a dairy coat. Punish a coon politician. And more people just need to go ballistic on them and get in their faces. The same thing that Maxine Waters said people need to do. We need to do it to Maxine and the others. We need to start tripping on them. You know, maybe somebody snatching that wig, getting an assault. But you know, no violence, none.
If you take that wig off of her, she really would look like the Grinch that stole Christmas. There's a couple little twiggly twigs.
No, she would look like Taffy the Frog's sister, man. We'd have to get her a lily pad, probably a diamond-studded one. But anyway,
you know,
yes, I went in and in fact, hold on, let me finish this. I'm sorry. Just my thought is this whole election cycle. It's all about what we Black people want. We need to learn how to just go for ourselves. We know how to be selfish toward one another. We need to learn how to be selfish toward these other so-called people. They're not thinking about us.
Right.
And we should be thinking about them. And so a lot of really good things are happening, as much as our folks can appreciate it, but Trump and them are shutting down all. I mean, they've got ICE is now getting records to deport people from the state police and all. They're really coming down. It's about us using the chaos of the moment to get what we can get. This is sort of like a riot going on in America, and it's a big cell phone store. I mean, aren't you going to grab some iPhone before the cops come? I mean, are you going to simply say, no one brought me anything, you can bring me a charger? I mean, really, you've got to go in and get yours. America is nothing but a flea market doing a riot. And you got to get what you can get as much as you can for as many as you can get while you can. And I'm saying that these other people don't care. And Commie Sanders, Pedo Lion instead of Joe Biden. I like that Pedo Lion. None of these people, and Clan Butcher, Rocket Man, or Isabich Horing. None of these people care. They're never going to. But this is a golden opportunity for us to demand and to change the whole destiny of our people, not so much through the ballot box, but through the brain box of using your head, organizing, mobilizing, and coming up with plans of action and then implementing them. We're in a really good position. And now you mentioned Corona. You know, you remember that song by the Knack, My Sharona?
Yeah, My Sharona.
Well, we're singing My Corona because it's working on behalf of Black people. It was probably to kill us, and thus far it's not killing anybody Black. Ooh, I mean, that's almost amazing. And it's jacking up a lot of people that can't stand us. It's interesting how it's all over in Italy, one of the most racist countries, where they always portray Black people as monkeys.
Right.
Always
bananas.
Right. And it's just jacking them up. It doesn't seem to be killing any of the Black migrants picking all the tomatoes. So, you know.
Well, even the Pope got to call.
And let me see. And then the Chinese who send us plastic rice and make corned beef out of people and put lead paint on toys and all this stuff that they violate and put toxic waste in the hair care stuff that they sell to Black women. Couldn't happen to a nasty group of people in terms of how they treat us. And the Chinese have a plan for depopulating Africa, moving 300 million Chinese in. So I think Corona has almost been, they were making a weapon, possibly a bioweapon to use, more than likely. Who could they get away with doing it to? Black people, probably making a bioweapon to hurt us and it blew up on their asses. And I'm just not. I refuse. I shall not be moved, not emotionally, not in terms of pity, nothing. Because when we get hurt, when people just do stuff to us because they have a military might and the economic might to do it, we just get crushed.
Right.
So these things to have blown up in their faces and to have jacked them up. And you know how nasty the Koreans are, the Black folks in California.
Yes. And in South Korea.
I'm not involved. And China and other places where folks do in the street, you have all that money, and they don't have toilets and stuff like they're supposed to have. They do stuff nasty. There's still restaurants, let's be honest, and they've been able to bribe us around it. A lot of Black folks, just a lot of Black people, forgive me, I always say I'm stupid. They don't know that the first people to sell dope and heroin and all in our neighborhoods were the Chinese.
Mm.
When they were in Chinatown and their thrift and how hard they work and how they're so industrious and selling dope to Black people going back over 100 years. Sure, I said it. It's a fact. Look it up. That's why, boom.
You see, a lot of people aren't privy to that type of information as far as...
That's okay. They need to look it up. The Chinese got drugged by the white people, got the dope from the white people. They forced it on them. Did the Chinese and them sell it back to white people? No. They started bringing it to America to put it on us.
So why do you think that the Chinese have become so colonialized in their drive to this one belt, one road initiative, especially pertaining to Kim and Africa?
I don't think that this is any different. They've always wanted to be the center of the world. They call themselves the Middle Kingdom. It's all about them. They're in the center of everything, and everybody else has to come to them. It's their version of being white folk.
Mm.
Africans are chumps. Black people aren't unified. Black people would rather kill each other than stick together. Black folks would rather be... we got pork chop feminists, little ignorant sisters, dinosaur-looking hairdos and weaves that hate Black men that like killing babies. You have the Black men that either like killing not white folks. They like when their brothers go for nothing. They want to swirl with everyone that's not. We're not talking about folks in marriage with somebody like. We just lost. Yes. People see that confusion, and it's if there's a buck to be made, they're going to make it. So the Chinese see Africans as chumps. When we are chumps, we trade with people that hate us. Do you sit up having small talk with your neighbors that are in the clan, brother?
No,
I don't think so. No, so why are we going and buying and getting hair care, doing everything with people who hate our guts, who show us that they hate us? They have to think that we're stark raising mad to deserve whatever abuse they pour on us. Wow. We encourage it. Incentivize people screwing over us. It's our fault.
Is it because of our leadership, though?
And if it's a decathlon of stupidity, it's continental Africans. We might get a bomb, but they got like a platinum medal for being stupid.
This reminds me of that the video that came out with Oprah Winfrey in LA, I believe. She's giving some sort of speech and she falls flat over on her face. And
she saw Gail on the floor.
It came out that her and Gail had some sort of bisexual activities back in the 90s and stuff, or 80s.
You said had. And Oprah probably, had flashbacks to the sex porn. Okay,
and the only reason why I say anything about Oprah is because her agenda is pretty obvious.
He's a pork chop feminist. We attack that whole. We now is the time to just disrespect all traders in our community. Oprah Winfrey is talking about all the men in her life ever since Judge Nussbaum on Oprah and Gail. I'd never heard so many men she loved until we went in on her. Notice that. Start talking about this boyfriend and that boyfriend. That's deflecting. Oh, you feeling the heat. It only takes a handful of Black people to get this engine rolling. And that's why that's what we're doing, is trying to incite thought and cite action, get people to think. And by the way, I just want to salute all the brothers and sisters that showed their asses to Scumberg. I left him out. Scumberg got turned out at Brown Chapel, downtown Alabama. I didn't know those cotton picking descendants had it in to show their ass to a white person on television. I mean, just praise the Lord. Now, I wish they had done that. By the way, they did. They turned out booty check. They shouted them down somewhere, I think in North Charleston. But there's some Black folk who still got some fight in them. They're not all Gabriel Union, and I call him Dwayne Gade. With his painted toenails. In fact, I'll just say this. It's easier to molest a child than it is to paint your toenails with the big ass long legs he has as a basketball player. I'm just wondering what happened to that child. I heard that he had this white boy, effeminate white boy watching his son. I don't know if he made videos of this dude doing his son to pleasure himself. I mean, you have people that nasty. It's despicable.
It is.
These boule, Luciferian, sodomite coons, there should be no respect for them. None. And if they were reviled and treated like scum, a lot of them would hide or would try to deflect, because in reality, it does matter if Black people accept or embrace you. We haven't even used our collateral of acceptance or embracing people as an instrument for disciplining, rewarding, as well as advancing. And so, by the way, I like, and forgive me, that I call him Coonburn or Clanburn. Which one do you like better? Clanburn or Coonburn? I like Clanburn. I mean, he looks like Uncle Ben's with Down syndrome. Some bullfrog. What? He's the most powerful Black man in Congress. He looks like somebody with the truck stop place for bad hot dogs. How did he get to be our leader, man? Damn this stuff. All these ignorant people, he was slobbering over Joe Biden. You would have thought that they both hooked up because their wives were dead. It's just really sick. Okay, it's sick.
But we have talked about this, Doctor. You get paid, not you personally, but a person gets paid for abusing Black folks in the United States of America, damn near the world. If you can come up with some system.
They get paid. And Joe Biden has, I don't know, his Alzheimer's has gone into high drive. You know what? And you know what? Niggas gonna give him some votes and make his right mind come back. We should have let his ass keep that rapid descent down. I was enjoying the downward spiral, but you know, some backward saltwater Geechee coons had to vote for him. Now, the side story you don't know, there was a whole bunch of millennial sissies. I got guys who are wearing diapers that were knocking on doors for booty. And I'm just going to say this. I don't know what it is about a lot of these gay Black people who are in the eating semen and who do first, and that Black people don't matter. Rubber's going to hit the road. In fact, I just want to segue right into that. My Corona. My Corona. My Corona. I mean, Corona. My. Yeah, Corona's going to really back up people with compromised communities. I told my followers, watch San Francisco be the first city to have an emergency for Corona. Did it happen? Yes. San Francisco declared an emergency. They know it's going to hit there. and someone's going to go into a bathhouse, have 100 people suck on their penis, and Corona's going to get all over the place, and these folks will be cooking in the kitchen with. I mean, the LGBTQ folks are going to finally get told on because they're going to have to explain how this stuff got out everywhere.
Right. All that promiscuous
and
sexual
so you
activity.
have a dungeon and you have 100 people. They have this little thing. It's like a metal thing that you can put semen on and everybody can eat off of a person. Like, so.
Oh.
This is true. So one of the first tests of Corona and this stuff.
What's for supper? Corona. Oh my God.
By the way, sale of Corona beer has gone down almost $300 million. I don't blame them.
You know.
Give me. I know it sounds weird. Let me tell you what happened on Saturday. Was they had the first gay pride celebration of the season down in Phoenix, Arizona. Don't be surprised if you don't have Corona in Phoenix. They don't find that in about, which they're getting ready. They just had 2 cases of Corona in Tampa.
Wow.
So the people in this so-called sex industry, the
disease industry,
and all of this crazy behavior, it's going to let loose. It's going to let loose. And we're going to see the judgment. That's what I keep putting on my Facebook, judgment.
Right.
I've seen all these actors, actresses, trans ones, people dying, 28, 21, 30, 41. Did you hear about the mayor down in Florida? They have a whole city count for everybody's gay. Everybody.
Damn.
And the mayor, he was gay, and he just dropped dead at 41. They don't know why. They never know why when they're gay anymore because they don't want to say it's AIDS. But there's no consequence to you just being your true self. And then you see Booty Check encouraging that 9-year-old boy. There's a force inside of you. Says he wanted to put some force inside that little boy.
You know it.
You see how he was going. There's a force inside of you. He says, yeah. And you probably put it in there.
But see, this is what it's always been about, the kids.
It is about the kids. And I believe that this Corona is showing up. By the way, we have the drag queen story hour in DC now. Of course, our mayor that looks like Arsenio Hall with the chemical peel, she supports it.
Chemical peel.
I think it may take something like some kids getting Corona from a drag queen for people to say we don't want it. But we're going to have to see. I'm sorry, we're hard-headed as a society. We got to see bodies stack up before people will hear and will think about being realistic. By the way, nobody's talking about taking anyone's rights away, Brother Patrick, or firing people from jobs, Brother Patrick, or putting their hands on anyone, Brother Patrick. We're just talking about this. In fact, I set this out on my wall. Do you know that there are resistant strains of chlamydia?
Yes.
Syphilis and gonorrhea that can't be treated. There's just nothing you can do. They've been in this country at least a year.
No one's talking about it, though, doctor. No one's talking about that.
And with your compromised immunity, and what people don't understand, I was speaking on this thing because every now and then I take the time to read because I have a question. Something comes up and thinking, I don't like what I just read. It's not making sense to me. And I'm not a stupid person. Well, at least I don't think I'm stupid. Do you know that when these viruses move around in people, any kind of virus, it can pick off some of the DNA or RNA from particular cells or bacteria, meaning that your Corona could hook up with your HIV or your HPV or your syphilis. And they can trade stuff like old people sharing medicine at a assisted living place.
Oh, I see what you're talking about, like one generation mutations.
Even faster than one generation. Just happened. It gets in and it gets a piece of something else and it changes. Now, they're not talking about this. And here's the thing. Let me just share with you some nightmare scenarios. It's been raining a lot, really nice weather in California. What does that mean? That means lots of brush.
Yes.
Lots of brush means when the shit catches on fire, there's going to be lots of fire. Can you imagine having to leave your house because of fire and they put you in a place and there's someone with corona and everybody gets sick because it's a fire? And if the fires are raging, how do you move the people?
You don't. You can't. You know?
Exactly. Oh my, there's some crazy stuff coming here. And like I said, the 29th of February kicked off the Pride season. There's a Pride thing, like I think in Tampa and then there's going to be one in Miami. Miami is the most STD infected place in the country. Thanks to South Miami, South Beach, where folks just do what they want to do. And by the way, there is corona in the state of Florida.
Yes.
And Washington State, where everything is so liberal and sweet and weed and whoring, and they've got, let's say, maybe 100+ people have corona in Washington State.
Well, sharing pipes, sharing all that stuff out there, you'll get those type of communicable diseases.
And see, they've got a case in New York, and they don't know how long the lady had it. And that cat just sneezed. I hope you don't have corona. I don't know if you heard the sneeze. Anyway, so are you understanding me? This is some crazy stuff. I don't know how it will affect the elections. I mean, I know there's some hand sanitizer going out. I mean, you'll probably be able to sell for $10 an ounce. I mean, we'll be selling like gold. But people need to know stuff like bleach fights the coronavirus. And so stock up on hydrogen peroxide, hand sanitizer, and bleach. And don't hang out. In fact, it's wonderful. And you know what? If they wanted to exterminate Black people, all they have to do is make another Black Panther sequel and put corona in the
Black Panther. You know, like Judge Joe says, the Black Pussy movie.
I call it the Whack Panther or Slack Panther. I mean, that was nothing but a bunch of voodoo and Satan Luciferianism in there, but Black folks who that's our old gods. No, my old God is Jesus, fool.
You know, speaking of that, do you not see biblical prophecies literally being fulfilled? Like, I got a report from a confidential informant in Israel that the third temple being built is literally right around the corner.
Yeah, well, I just saw something. They're going to sacrifice the first Passover lamb in 2,000 years soon.
Right. So now we can plug that in with the locusts that we see in Yemen or Africa, the virus amongst us, the rumors of war, and also the formation of the one world government.
Well, that's already here. You know, I was at the Zionist event last night. I could, no, I'm not lying. I'm not lying. I wouldn't lie to you, brother.
I know, brother, but just the way you said that. By the way, I was at the Zionist.
I brought some Israeli flags home. I can send the picture to you, just so you know I'm not lying.
No, I believe you, Doctor. I know you're not lying. But so what were they discussing at the event?
It was actually kind of nice. The thing that only thing that I had an issue with was a dude was talking about someone building a yeshiva school when Stukas were flying over. And this was an rabbi, and the thing is, I'm gonna tell you, I called my friend to tell them first. Let me just tell you. First and foremost, the Stuka or the Ju-88 dive bomber, they weren't used necessarily for long flying missions. In order for Stukas to have been able to bomb Jerusalem, which did not happen, those things would have had to flown roughly 1,200 miles, which is about the range of Stuka bomber, right? I mean, they would have had to fly from Egypt all the way to Jerusalem and then fly back, understanding that Stuka planes weren't that fast. They were inferior and outdated by the time World War II started. That the British would have been able to shoot all of those planes down because they weren't as good as the Spitfire and there's another Hurricane planes were much better. So this rabbi's up here talking this. That stuff wasn't true. I get you want your state. I'm not even against your state being there, but why tell a lie?
Well, isn't he not?
It's presumed that people are stupid. And I have to tell my friend's sister, a Stuka wouldn't have made it. It wouldn't have been a successful bomb. What would have been the objective to bomb Jerusalem in World War II when you couldn't get Alexandria or Cairo to topple Egypt to get to the oil fields? They didn't necessarily need, they didn't need they didn't need to bother Jerusalem. I understand, and you should have heard some of the stuff said that everybody forever owes Jewish people an apology.
But what about us?
We owe them the greatest debt for their faithfulness to God, everything. And I'm thinking, dude, if I'm reading the prophets in the Bible, they don't say this. Jewish prophets in the Bible don't say, I owe everything to God, not to any man, not them, nobody.
Right.
I'm not anti anyone. I'm only saying what made them so important until everybody comes second to them. Really?
Well, could it possibly be, Doctor, that they had the power to assume the identities of the real Jews?
Well, they didn't even deal with that. And so I'm going to say to the rabbi that was talking about these planes, he's from Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston was the hub of the slave trade, as you know, for the United States.
Yes.
Which had a super strong, if not dominant, Jewish folks played a major role in that. There's no way around that. So imagine you sitting there in the church being told how much you did to hurt people and how we can never make it up to people. I can't make it up to them, dude. And I'm thinking, wow. And so the stuff that they're feeding people on this, again, I'm not anti-Israel at all, but do you have to be dishonest about what you're saying in order to know what it is and get support? So you're saying that the cross and everybody has been brutal to Jewish people throughout their entire history, everybody. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Did the Zulus have a Holocaust? Did the Yoruba have a Holocaust? Did the Igbos have a Holocaust? Did the Efik have a Holocaust? Did the Bakongo have a Holocaust? Did the Kikuyu have a Holocaust? Right? Did the Tuaregs have a Holocaust? Did the Bambara have a Holocaust? Did the Kru and the Creole have a Holocaust? The answer is no. Africa's one of the places that you didn't have a lot of Jewish people be persecuted. It's primarily a white thing.
Right.
So how is someone going to come back and tell me what I've done to people who actually historically have screwed me?
Correct.
Not me screwing them. I didn't do anything to them.
You should say it like this, Doctor. The blood that the so-called European Jews suffered under Nazi Germany does not wash away the sins that the United States Jews caused upon the peoples of Africa.
But let's just stop for a minute. let's just stop for a minute because I want to make these two things clear. First and foremost, let's do this. Anne Frank, if Anne Frank existed, I assume she did, but people say it's not. Let's say it's not true. I'm not in that. Let's say it's true. I love watching the movie when I was a kid. Even if some of this stuff has been made to scare or upset people or to make people care, I think it has value.
Okay.
Even if someone falsifies a story about something, just to show you I'm a fair person. But Amsterdam, where Anne Frank was, who ran a lot of the trade out of Amsterdam? Okay, we don't say. Whose man of war dropped the Africans off at Spears Point down in Virginia? Weren't they Dutch?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. The biggest slave market outside of Charleston was New York. Who started New York or New Amsterdam?
Yes.
Was the proper name?
Yes,
Dutch. Okay. What was the big business on Wall Street? Selling black people. Who started selling the black people in New Amsterdam? We won't say what kind of Dutch people they were. We'll just say they're all Dutch.
Gotcha.
Are you feeling?
Yes.
And we can go all over the Caribbean and everywhere else, and we're going to get some of the same things. The city of London, which dominates economics for the state, or the British Empire, has its own mayor and its own government.
Right.
It's 1 mile square. If you really get into who runs the city of London and has run it for most of the country's history, it ain't black people. It's not Chinese. It's not Japanese. It's not Koreans. Right?
Right.
It's none of these. But it is somebody. Because this guy's talking about the two wars that we have. We have a war against secularism, and we have a war against radical Islam. I was going to say, who are the people pushing to get rid of religion in America? Black people.
No.
Who funds this stuff? When you have prayer in school, you have a manger team. Who's saying no to this? Are you understand? Who?
Who is the question?
If you answer it, it's a bigoted answer.
A small
amazing.
sombrero?
You have to literally, you have to close your eyes and just not see anything to appease certain people.
Correct.
Because if you open your eyes, you're going to see stuff, and you're not going to be a good, really cool cat. Because you open your eyes and you ask the question, and the answer to your question it won't be good. It'll be an answer that would be considered a bigoted answer.
Correct.
Even if you had no desire to do anything other than to know the answer to a question. Mind you, I'm just sitting listening to someone talk. I didn't ask them to tell a falsehood. It just so happens that the thing that this man was talking about, brother, what he was talking about, that happened to be, he's talking about this plane. And he's just speaking, and, I guess they get to be storytellers. They get to be storytellers and tell you all this kind of stuff, and what they really want is just give up your money and do what other people tell you to do.
Correct.
Are you understanding me?
That's exactly what the game is. Just give up your money and shut up.
Yeah, and be my slave.
That's the tough bit. People don't want to recognize that action, Doctor. They want to be, no, I'm doing this because I want to.
You can look it up. Jerusalem was never bombed by the Germans during World War II. There wouldn't have been a smart military objective. Okay.
And plus, during World War II, wasn't there just a bunch of Palestinians there? The Jewish people that we know of.
There were hundreds of thousands of Jewish people there who were armed by the British Army.
Gotcha.
Who volunteered to fight. It would have been very difficult for the Germans to have taken Jerusalem or Israel, because those folks armed and they would have the British Army helping them and so forth. Are you understanding me?
Yeah. It's hard to subjugate armed people.
Right. And so you had all these Jewish militias, the Haganah, and there were many different armed Jewish paramilitary groups there who were prepared to fight and were armed. It wouldn't have been like going into Poland or Russia where the people had to just take whatever the Germans did to them. You would have had armed, prepared people. It would have been more like Yugoslavia. The Yugoslavs lost a lot of people, but they kicked the Germans in the behind, even conquered. Right? They just did. You had Tito and these other folks, and they were fighting. They were not going to give in to the Germans. So, anyway, imagine sitting in a church and this guy, and can I tell you something? You can almost tell that they don't like you when you're black. you're telling everybody about how you've been persecuted and how everybody hates you. And you hate me. You like the people that gassed you, and you hate me who didn't gas you. And you own me. I owe you. I did you wrong. I'm not even a European, and I owe an apology for what Europeans did, and yet you identify as European. Is that making any sense? You want me to put that myself in there?
No, but that's where we're at. That is quite literally the state of the situation.
And by the way, you haven't heard me say I'm anti-Israel.
No.
But I guess some people would take that as anti-Israel if you ask a question. But why would you tell a lie like that in a room full of people? And so, I don't know, you can go online, and what you can do, encourage the audience to look for Holocaust hoaxes. Don't take my word for it.
Look for Holocaust.
You will find that hoaxes.
Oh, Holocaust hoaxes.
There are people who have put up and claimed that they were tortured and all this stuff. I didn't say it didn't happen. But then people hustle off of it. Writing and selling books, claiming that they've been through all this stuff, and then people find out that they've lied. And yet everybody's running around feeling sorry and wanting to make up to people who never went through what they said. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I mean, a lot of there's a name for it. Holocaust deniers are often
but I'm not denying the Holocaust. I'm talking about people who use the Holocaust as a racket to guilt trip and rip off people, good, sincere people who feel bad about the Holocaust happening.
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong, Doctor. The Holocaust victims actually get reparations, don't they?
Yeah, but there's never enough reparation, my brother.
Well, I mean, can we at least get a start, though?
I haven't written my book. I haven't written my book yet. And these people right now, they're just people saying how all this stuff was done to them. And they get all these awards for all their, wow, such an incredible story, right?
Right.
And by the way, nobody has suffered but them. And that's not true. Lots of people have suffered. Lots of people have been destroyed and hurt. And as far as Black people go, we've been getting it for years. In America, no disrespect, no matter what Jewish folks say, they've had it easier than Black people have.
Well, yeah. I mean, just because they started the NAACP doesn't mean that. You know, I mean,
you're right over in Illinois. I need to remind the person that helped initiate the genocide of Black people in East St. Louis was Samuel Gompers. Samuel Gompers is a Jewish man. You tell me when Black folks here organized for Jews. It never happened. I'm glad it's never happened. That's just my point. Why is it that I owe someone so much sorrow for things I've never done, nor time to do, nor would support if anyone else did it? Why I owe someone an apology for forever that can never be paid. But no matter what's been done to me, isn't anything or mentioned. And we see all the little Black folk out there, and they're buying this stuff. And my thing is, no. That's not the way it's done, Dave. Everybody has hurt some. Everybody's had some losses. Everybody. And I would agree, the Holocaust is one of the worst things I know of. But this is for the Black folks. It's happened to Australian Aborigines, people all over the earth. So,
it's still happening in Liberia, or Libya, rather.
Libya and other places. By the way, the perpetrators of the slavery in Libya are from Misrata. Misrata is the home of the sombrero Libyans. Are you getting where I'm going with this? Well, I'm against anybody mistreating anybody. I'm definitely against someone mistreating me and mine.
Yes.
Now, let me get back to politics because I don't want folks to. I don't want you to get demonetized.
Oh yeah. I mean, even for educational purposes, we must not talk about Baltimore. Small sombrero, Baltimore.
Yeah, well, but you start looking at what's going on. Some people have sued others and have been arrested for it. Fact. That's the fact, whether anybody likes it or not. And for nobody, I'm not trying to take anybody lunch money or deny any homes they have. I'm just saying a lot of people have done stuff to do.
Right.
And when I did the story, it's just like an individual. I've never failed to have a bad experience with a person that always tells me how bad everybody treats them. If you start looking, you realize they're treating you horribly. All the while got you focusing on how to treat them. Are you hearing me?
Yep.
I'm telling you. Every time I run across a person who talks about all of the stuff they've done and they've been through, they've always been the kind hurting everyone else. All of them. And you gotta fail.
You know,
I've never seen. It's never been without that. That's never happened without that. Never. And I assure you, I tell you the truth. When you see a person that claims that everybody's hurt them, get nervous.
Because they have no problem hurting others.
So no, they have a life purpose and making the victim.
Yeah, I got a question from the chat room, Doctor. Ask Doctor about if we see a fight happen when Bernie Sanders folks. Will we see a fight happen with the supporters of Bernie Sanders if he's not, I guess, nominated for presidency?
I'll answer it this way. I hope so. I hope that there's a lot of confusion at the Democratic convention this year. I hope to God. If you look at how everybody's dropping out, Rudy Check and all of them, and Liar, they've all been told to drop out so Biden can win. That election was fixed. They projected the election for Biden before 1% of the vote was counted. How would you know? How do you know before 1% balloting and that Biden won?
Well, I guess if you had them super delegate, all is made.
No, that's not. No, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of votes. How did they know how the vote was going to go? The minute the polls closed, Biden wins. They were saying Biden won before they closed the polls. Biden won. How do you know?
I mean, I don't want to even suggest that our elections in the United States are not 100% solid.
Look, what's his name? Tom Gives Head, the little Hispanic dude that runs. That's Tom Gives Head. You should say it. It feels good for you. Tom Gives Head.
Okay, hold on. I'll type that into the.
No. His name is Tom Perez. I call him Tom Gives Head.
Tom Perez.
Yeah, but I call him Tom Gives Head.
I'm glad I didn't pop that up. And then this thing would have gotten banned. Yeah, I got a picture of him up here on the screen. He looks like a cross between, oh my God, Julie Rudiani and the creep from FETV.
Look, he, as I said, Tom Gives Head. And my cousin caught him with some dude up in Maryland. Looked like he was on a date, and when he spoke to him, the dude got mad. Like, you can't know who I am. I'm black.
Oh. And he's supposed to be a lead. Oh, and there he is. I have him and Obama. All.
Yeah, he's one of Obama's, I think, ambiguous acolytes. He's bilingual,
and he has a bald spot, which I don't recall where I got this information, but sometimes that balding is a sign of an STD that they have, and it causes hair loss.
Like I said, Tom Gives Head. Now, I want to do Super Tuesday. I'm going to walk to the Metro because I got to meet this sister that's a farmer.
All right.
But I want to see this to you. Super Tuesday is going to be a lot of fun, y'all. It should be called Blooper Tuesday.
I just want to take a second for everyone out there who can hear me. One, I want to apologize for the live studio audience and playing her little piano in the background. But for two, I want to implore you all to go to Cash App. Check out Dr. Randy Short or $ Dr. Randy Short. Help support the brother. Help get funds in the war chest because the doctor, the good doctor, is quite literally on the front lines trying to write up a prescription, not just for himself, but for all of us. And it takes funds. It truly does.
It does. It does. By the way, I need to tell you, I'm doing a show in Ohio on Wednesdays. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
And I'm going to do a review of Blooper Tuesday. because there's nothing super about it.
Nothing super about it. Well, that's the day that
Let me tell you what's going to happen. I think that they're going to get rid of toxic hazard instead of gravity hazard.
You know,
they want Biden. He's no good. And black folks would really be angry with that dude, what's his name? Clanburn. Now, Super Tuesday's going to be interesting. I'm going to see Nancy. I'll be back.
Nancy.
I need to get some shade. Clanburn and the others don't have any influence in Alabama. So you're going to see Thug Jones will probably get down in Alabama. I hope so. Judge Roy Moore, the one that they said messed with little girls who they lied on, he may make a comeback against Sessions or Sextons, as I call them.
Jeffrey.
You're going to see a lot of stuff in Virginia. You might even see Scumberg get some support. Now, you know, Scumberg is in to push for Hillary. And Scumberg and others are looking at, they have 3 black women that we can't trust, that they want us to care about. They want us to either like Kamala or a pudding bar on Stacey Abrams. She does look like she had one too many chocolate pudding. She could replace, she probably was watching Bill Cosby eating all the pudding. I mean, she had the devil pudding in the manufacturer. They've got her and they've got Kamala. And they're looking at these 3 black women who've never done anything for black people. Now, Stacey is smart, except for when there's a plate in front of her. She might be able to deliver Georgia. But that's about it. So Biden and them are even talking about a black woman on the Supreme Court. So, you know, if you do have that happen, remember they're trying to get it passed in Alabama, where all the men have to get castrated or vasectomy after a certain age. They'll probably put her on the Supreme Court to castrate black men. And all the little goddess worshiping coons, the goddess worshiping coons will run around and say what a great thing it is that we have someone on the court to castrate us.
To basically become eunuchs. You know?
And the black men should support that. She's a strong sister. I don't care if she got 4 steps in her hand. Right? And by the way, can we talk about weak, dumb black men for a minute? I want to. There's a lot of trifling black men that just worship everything. If a black woman makes a bowel movement on his birthday cake, oh, she's a queen. It's not the good, it's the way she put it on there. You know, and it's really despicable. And then really just black women.
Oh no. We're losing signal. You there, doctor? We lost. He's actually walking, folks, so he's on his cell phone. This is totally out of my control. He makes a bow movement on the cake. That has got to be a classic. I don't know if we're going to get... Oh, I hear him. You there, doctor? Oh, we just... Yes, he's in a...
Incoming call.
Oh, here we go. We got you back, doctor.
Oh, my God.
We lost you as she was making a bow movement on the cake, and then it got really gargly.
Oh, okay. I was just talking about this perverse man hate, which is matched by perverse goddess worship, where the woman never does anything wrong if she has a vagina, and the man can't do anything right if he has a dick. That's all this goddess worship. I see all these black men killing, murdering black women and girls all over the country, while all this goddess stuff. It can't be that. You can't feel that about them if this is what's happening all the time. So why can't we be open about if we have a beef or an issue and ask for the women, a whole bunch of them that have had more abortions than the Holocaust.
Yes.
And have like really nasty attitude. You know, the type of black woman's probably had about 10 abortions. She thinks of them as like getting your molars removed, your back teeth, instead of a life sentence. And they're really funky, nasty, vicious attitude. Kind of woman you want to punch out and you don't even hit women because of their attitude.
Right.
Oh my God, we have a lot. I was saying, you know, maybe Corona would like shake up some of these people, make them a little more humble, or make them fewer in numbers. Not that I wish mass death on folks, but my God.
Well, what you said, how you said
one
that.
second for me. What? Oh, 1 second. I want to see what this is.
That's fine. Man, what a powerful show today, folks.
So no, it's just, I'm seeing all of these pedophiles killing little missing black girls. I love queens. No, you don't. You don't love no damn queen. You don't love no princess. Not the way we're ripping and raping them. Not the way we're taking our kids. I mean, it's just shameful, the behavior towards one another these days. And there is a solution. There's a solution. You know, back in the day, if a man molested a child, they didn't call the police. They called the real black men and women, and they dealt with these people. When you have police departments that are involved in human trafficking and all this mass stuff, they're not going to fix it. We got to fix it.
Yes.
And a lot of little nasty black guys, but everything is, you know, my penis, if it's not greased, I don't care if it's a 1-year-old. I can't wait. I can't wait for them to get to 16. My dick will expire, right? This crazy behavior, but I'm just telling you, judgments here. You can see stuff like this Corona just bust caps in Negroes. And maybe it's necessary. Every now and then, I research other people's stuff. Have you heard of a Cereversity?
No.
A Cereversity. You didn't know down in Atlanta, niggas have parties to celebrate when they found out they had AIDS?
Oh, God, no.
Have a big cake with the dick on it.
That's
okay. Are you hearing me now?
Yeah, I can hear you a little better.
What do we do with that? You think it's
a badge of honor to be dying of a disease? That's pretty whack.
Well, no, you can survive if you have all those medications. It still makes you sick eventually. But it's the perversion of it all, the insanity of it all. And then you want to go and kiss on the old women in church on Sunday, and you didn't want to shake my hand. But it looks like you had some goo on there. Oh, I forgot. We were in the bathroom. I was going to wash my hands after you do it. Yes, I am messing with people.
That's when you have to act to be an Asian, just take a bow. No, I don't shake hands. I just, nod the head to acknowledge your presence.
Yeah, people need, you can't do everything you want. You can't screw everybody you want.
Nope.
You can't put your tongue in every hole.
Not recommended.
And see, this is what you need to understand. During Black History Month, or just before, the very first porn king for sodomite porn, the first black man won the award. They stepped up, pushing this stuff in our community.
Oh.
You can see the Disney character that looks like Oprah Winfrey with one eye.
Yeah.
It has a black woman's voice. Black lesbians a voice for this character that represents the all-seeing eye. They have a gay character that looks like Oprah Winfrey as a horse with one eye.
And they're pushing this. They're pushing this sodomite.
I would have named it My Little Phony.
Is that what it's ultimately about? Just debasing everything we know to be good and natural?
I didn't hear you.
It almost seems like the whole agenda with the rainbow crowd is to debase everything that we know to be good and natural.
It's breaking us down, and what they keep saying to you is, it doesn't matter what you do in the privacy of your bedroom, but when you put on television or radio, you're in everybody's private space, you damn liar. You're saying stay out of your bedroom, and you're in our kids' bedroom if you have a gay curriculum in their school books.
Yes.
You don't get a break. Huh? I ain't tricked on nobody. And we have to always apologize for seeing stuff for what it is.
See.
And so, no, brothers and sisters, it's time for people to wake up and understand that, by the way, Joe Biden, who all these weak Negroes vote for, all these weak Negroes. You know what Joe Biden said was the number one civil rights issue in America?
What?
Trans rights.
Trans rights.
That's the number one civil rights issue in America.
So Joe must have a sweetie tooth there.
So, yeah, trans is the most important thing. What trans aren't getting.
But aren't trans basically gay men in drag?
I'm not hearing you. I'm sorry. There's so much noise. I'll be off this in 1 second.
Okay.
Repeat that.
I said, aren't trans women basically gay men in drag? In reality.
That's my view. I mean, basically all you did was put on your mom's clothes. Just to make you a woman. And by the way, who was it? Wendy Williams. She looks like the Jeffrey Holder. Remember the guy that used to do the 7-Up commercials?
Oh, man.
She does look like him. She looks like he's in drag.
I'm going to try to pull that up on the computer.
Jeffrey Holder, his look-alike. She, Wendy Williams.
I got Jeffrey. Oh, no. Like oh, no. I got him up here.
Post it. Post it. I dare you.
It's on this big screen right now. Hold on. You know, it might be some of her people or something. Who knows? But yeah, he does.
He looks like Wendy Williams.
Let me
put a wig on him.
Put Wendy Williams here.
Remember, he used to do the 7-Up commercials.
Yes, I do, and I thought he was also like in a Sinbad movie or something.
Yeah, and he's in that foolishness too. I'm just saying.
My God, I thought Wendy Williams was a bigger chick, but she's not really. Not from this one pit. But yeah, they I gotta do a side-by-side comparison.
Yeah. She's one of the craziest, most fascinating, strange-looking sisters in the history of mankind. She is. And all he has to do is put a wig on. He's no longer with us, but he sure did look like her, man.
Well, they do have that eye similarity. Could just be the makeup. Who knows?
And I'm thinking that she's one of the greatest female impersonators in human history. I never saw a woman that could be
Well, doesn't she have children or something? A daughter or something?
She could be a man. She could be a woman. She could be anything she wanted to be. She could.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely has the money or whatever. She's been on TV forever.
Say that again.
She definitely has the money to do whatever she needs to do. She's been on TV forever.
Yeah, and she's one of the.
But it looks like she's been bleaching her skin or something. It's like some pictures, she just looks totally different.
Repeat.
Like she
I can hear you.
It almost looks like she uses skin bleaching products, because on some of her pictures she looks like normal complexion, then others looks like, yeah, it's like she's damn near white.
Well, you know, I think she starts to shape up and forgets to rub it in, and as a result, she looks like that. He does look like she doesn't rub the shape out there. Now, don't get back at me. Oh my God! Now, I was saying, because I had to watch the station here. Look, Super Tuesday. I believe Bernie's going to do well in California, but I also believe that ICE is going to raid a lot of the voting places. This will be Trump's. See, remember, Trump said Operation Chaos for South Carolina.
Right.
If we're not going to raid polling places in California, he's going to do it just because he feels like doing it. And it's just a matter of time before Trump pardons Roger Stone. I need to just tell you about that. Yes, Roger Stone and I are friends. There are a lot of people mad at me, and why are you with these right-wing people? And all I can tell you, brother, is Roger Stone, 18 years ago, began raising millions of dollars to overturn laws that massively persecuted black men. If he only did one thing right, that's enough for me, because somebody stood up and did something. And he didn't just protest and hold a sign. He shook people down for money to fight it. Even if Nixon had started with the war on drugs, for a person to recognize that they're wrong and go public, and not only go public, but fight it
right
for about 20 years, can't I give him credit for that? Can't I not eat his guts for that? I think that's fair. I think it's fair. And so when I look at him and I think about the fact that it's just a matter of time before Trump pardons him. And as for me, it will benefit me some, because he claims I've had some major impact on his life. I'm thankful if he thinks so. But that's helping my profile.
Right.
And he knows what I talk about. You know, I don't like no racism. I want reparations. And when I'm around, I don't know if I sent you the video I did that was sent to President Trump. But I told these people Trump needs to pardon all the black political prisoners, and we need reparations.
Right.
No ifs, buts, and ands about it. For all the people that tripped and said, "These white conservatives." Well, what am I saying to the white conservatives compared to the ones that were on Trump praying for him in the White House the other day? Are you hearing me?
Right.
Some of them aren't talking real stuff. We should be upset with them. But if you were doing the right thing, do you care how I did it?
Well, I can tell you right now, you have had a major influence on Roger Stone. All you got to do is Google Roger Stone and Dr. Randy Short, and you see all these tons of media, photos. I mean, yeah. You know,
speaking of that, I didn't tell you. Remember I was talking to you about the trial a few months ago? And I told you there were plants on the damn thing?
Yeah.
A woman that I pointed out, the juror that they talked about, identified that bitch first day of the trial. Says you don't want her on your jury. Don't let her on your jury. She's going to nail you. Wow. The pork chop feminist. And I told him, don't let her on. She's the enemy. I know she is. I bet my life I got this hole. I can see her. You know what happened?
What?
She's the one. They did take my word to look her up. She's the one that did all that stuff on the jury trial.
Mm-hmm.
Are you hearing me?
Mm-hmm.
The very one I warned about. Are you hearing me?
They did not heed the warning.
And so now she's going to have to give a new trial, or the president's going to pardon. I believe she won't give a new trial. I think the president's going to pardon, and it's going to be a major explosion. And you might see me in the just hanging around. But I need to tell people in Libya, the person that was exposing the black slavery and all that is Stone. Playing dirty trick, yes. Was it helping black people? Yes. Person exposing Haiti for human trafficking and UN and all this stuff, and folks mass killing people? Stone did it. Was it a dirty trick? Yes. Was it to help his party? Yes. Did black people benefit? Yes. Sometimes politics does really strange things.
Right.
Hillary Clinton tried to have my once I murdered. I'm still angry. I can't forgive her. Forgive me, but I just mad at her. When I went to people, nobody would listen to me. You know who listened to me? Stone. I went to black people. The man who was number 2 behind Ralph Abbott, Martin Luther King. Someone tried to kill him, and the black leadership turns their back on him. I've got to go to a white man on the right to try to get some kind of justice. And people are criticizing me. I said to someone, tell me, I would have gone to them first. This is the thing that a lot of people are not active understand, that a lot of what we see is all fraud and lies. A lot of our people that could do, won't help, won't change, won't fix, won't repair.
Right.
Are you hearing me? And that means a lot of people you'll see on the Republican side isn't because they don't want to be with their people, but they couldn't get anything from the people on the left.
Right.
It's really tricky. And when people realize that some of the most angry radical people end up going right because the left is more against us than the right is, although nobody likes us.
And that's the point that should be stressed. The point that whether we talk about the right or the left, even in some cases, the libertarian, the love is not there for you.
Can you hear me? I'm on the train and a Chinese woman walk. I'm worried about Cologne.
Oh my God. Well, that is a concern, though, being on public transport now.
I'm on public transportation, and I'm hoping not to be Cologne. Anyway, I'm about to go on the ground. You want me to call you back? Because we could do some more of this today.
Well, sure. I mean, we're only at an hour, 20 minutes.
Okay, well, that's what we could do. We mix it up. Uh-oh. I have to come over. Shoot. So, anyway.
Well, I do want to say thank you for coming on the show, though, Doctor. And sharing.
We got to do some on the politics. I'm sorry, I was just goofing this morning. You know, let's get together tonight. Talk to you.
All right.
All right.
Bye. Yes, everybody. That was Dr. Randy Shorts, DRS1. I hope that you found today's show interesting and hopefully it inspires you to actually do your own research on the topics that we discuss. Once again, all topics discussed on TPIM, that's our live, are not meant to invoke violence or hatred. They're for educational purposes to inspire discussion amongst humanity, because we can never unite as long as we are not talking. So we must have these conversations. We must understand where we all stand, and we must make a conscious decision. Are we going to walk into ascension together? Or are we going to bumble around in darkness and oppression forever, separate individuals? The choice is yours. I want to thank you to all the chatters, to everyone who's watching the show right now. Thank you for spending time with us. And this is going to wrap it up. Today's date is March 2nd, 2020, the year of our Lord. So, as always, live your life of integrity without hate, envy, or greed. And as always, brothers and sisters, please, let's try to be kinder to each other. Peace and power, unity and victory, dignity and respect, liberation. I'm out.